Mary-Anne, do people get discriminated about based on their accents?
Yes, I think they do. I think you probably get... Well, I mean, you read out one of the viewers...
I get loads of abuse about what I sound like.
The assumptions that people might make, those kind of preconceptions, maybe if you've got a kind of a strong regional accent, you're a bit less intelligent, you're a bit less well-educated than someone who might sound like Jacob Rees-Mogg or Boris Johnson or whatever. Maybe you're a bit slower if you've got a West Country drawl. Maybe you're very charming if you sound like you're from Edinburgh. And fundamentally, I mean, when you stop and think about it, we know that those kind of blunt cliches are obviously nonsense. And I think we do need to check ourselves. That said, and we shouldn't all sound like, kind of RP, this is the BBC News, like it was, back in the old days. We should celebrate that diversity and difference and people's personality. You shouldn't have to hide it. But we need an education system and we need a kind of a society that enables people, youngsters particularly, to have those opportunities to be able to talk in I think, what the educators call different registers. So in the way you'd message a mate might be different to how you'd write a job description or kind of a letter to apply for a kind of a job. You need to be able to speak in different registers as well.
Yeah, you shouldn't text. I think a lot of kids, James, I do think a lot of young people text speak when they're doing, like, professional things like job applications, and I personally just think that's laziness. But accents, do you think still discrimination exists?
Well, quite frankly, Michelle, I think lots of people experience problems with their voice in all walks of society.
But you've got quite a posh accent, haven't you?
Well, there we go. So, what is discrimination? It can be about the voice, and that's a bit sad. But what I understand by discrimination is what black people or Indians suffered from the southern United States in the 60s and in the Indian Empire, which we're going to get onto, or the British Empire in India, I should say. That's real discrimination. I'm sure our East London Cockney friends, have been mistreated from time to time. But I think I'm nearly with you, Mary-Anne. I think I wouldn't celebrate the art. No, well, let's register it when it's possible. I can't be doing with that rainbow bumper sticker, celebrate diversity. I do believe we use different registers for a letter, an email, a text or whatever, not just youngsters. But I believe that it's better to say better than better. And I put it to you that there are millions of tourists, new immigrants, Ukrainians, hard of hearing, old people, and nearly everybody else who would rather, on a crowded, noisy train or bus, hear you say better than better.
Judith has emailed in saying, please, can someone ask Michelle to use the letter T's? For example, she says Britain instead of Britain. Judith, you're right, I do. David, briefly, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the original article. It was about a Cockney guy in the fashion industry, and he was saying that in the creative industries it was a block to sort of advancement. But he was actually a professional who'd done well for himself anyway. So, anyway, I don't think it's a big issue. But I think if you are going for a professional job, you have to speak properly. You don't go around saying, all right, mate. You say, hello, sir, excuse me, sir, if you're talking to the boss, to try to get on. It's just common sense, really.
Well, there you go. Let me know what you think. Someone's just written in, Clive, and said, your accent's good for me, Michelle. I think that's Jana. Now, that's a proper job of an accent, he says. Is that Jana? Is he saying Jana?
I'm a Jana.
I don't even know what that is, Clive. What is a Jana?
Is that...
You tell me. I've just Googled it now as I'm talking to you. Apparently it's someone that lives by the sea. Is that right? Is that what Jana is?
The deeper issue here is, do we care about spelling? Do we care about numbers? Do we care not about RP or received pronunciation, but at least putting the T's in better?
Yes, we do care. Although I've got to say I don't pronounce my T's. And by the way, for me, it's the letter when I try and say I think it comes out like an ER.
Is that a Norwegian thing?
So if I say like, oh no, there's like snow on the road, people find that very peculiar, but that's the northern accent. Anyway.